Okay. Um, so this is a little bit of a unique recording so far. I think this is day 4. Oh wow, my light just got brighter somehow. Um, so I missed the day. So I'm actually going to do two gift routines back to back, but they're going to be completely different. So I'm going to do the first one, which is kind of traditionally what I've done in the first 3 recordings, and then the second one I'm going to do still a guided meditation, but a different one. Um, And then instead of doing foam rolling, I'm going to use a yoga strap to do some stretching and do some like couch stretches, some squatting stretches. We'll see what else. It'll kind of just naturally unfold. Um, and then instead of breath work, I'm going to do 10 minutes of sun salutations and warrior pose. Um, yeah, basically, yeah, just keeping it really simple, but just doing a little bit of yoga instead of doing the breathing technique. Um, so yeah, let's get going. It's actually evening, and the reason I'm doing two is because I missed a day. Um, and rather than miss out on that gift, I'm just gonna give it to myself a little later, and at night, I'm curious to see. Um, I've been doing it in the morning, so this will be the first time I do it at night, and I'm curious to see when I do back to back, like if I sleep like a baby. So let's get going. Which guided meditation do I want to do? I think this one. Use headphones for avoiding copyright issues. Yay. Oh, I got a text here. Interrupts the actually infiltrates. Yeah. these are great texts coming in, but I've got to figure out a way in the future to maybe put my phone on airplane mode because it's. Okay, on to some 10 minutes of foam rolling. Just go here. My case. Learned my lesson from the first time I tuck my shirt on. Avoid the butt crack. It's very important. All right. Oh, socks off too. Oh. Okay, one thing randomly that I'm noticing, it's it's 8 o'clock right now, so I can already tell there's a huge difference in doing this when preparing to take on the day versus when kind of recovering from the day. And it feels more restorative versus in the morning. I think it feels more empowering. If that makes sense, like almost like suiting up. So that's just an interesting difference that I'm noticing. Like, and it's very obvious to me. Like as I'm doing it, right away, I notice the difference. I mean, I didn't lift weights today. I kind of ran out of time, so I'd be curious if I did make it to the gym in the afternoon on one of these days, or if I wanted to go to the gym in the morning and instead do this at night. Um, if it would feel even more restorative. Maybe that's a good way too of like being flexible. If you really feel like you need to maybe get up and go take a boxing class or something instead of taking it slow, you can always take it slow later on and still give yourself that gift at a different time of the day. I had a teacher, a mentor really. Um, you give me a pretty interesting analogy, like uh, we don't. If you have a pet, right? If you have a dog, you don't just pet the dog and tell it you love it once a day. Um, it wouldn't like that very much. And in the same way, we shouldn't limit, telling ourselves that we care about ourselves to once a day. Um, so whether that be choosing something good to eat, something that's good for you, whether that's taking 5 minutes to just close your eyes and take a break from screens midway through the day. It could be anything. You could just read some nice words to yourself, something positive about, how proud you are of yourself. I mean, anything. But yeah, multiple times throughout the day, if we can, give ourselves gifts or, tell ourselves that we love ourselves. Ooh, oh, this doesn't feel like love. In this exact moment, this is always one that left so sad. I'm also just not as sharp right now. I'm noticing like my brain is wants to use this as an opportunity to like totally wind down instead of thinking about it, which I honestly kind of like. Kind of feels like this, and then like a nice warm shower, and it'd be lights out. Feels so good to like check in with my body at the end of the day. I've been up since 5 a.m. and I really haven't stopped to ask myself how I'm feeling. And now all of a sudden, at the end of the day, I get a chance to do that. It feels amazing. I'm really gonna make a note of that. Um, oh, this was bicep. Oh yeah. And yeah, this is just every day giving myself the gift, promoting holistic cellular wellness. which should aggregate to holistic whole body wellness, which theoretically should mean that I experience, um, life and reality with more ease. And I think, joy isn't a word that I like to throw around because, you can't control if joyous things happen to you, but you sure can control how much joy you see when you walk through the world. You can, you have a very, I don't know if a choice is the right word, but um, you have real power to, um, gear your mind and your body through work like this, through gifts like this, to resonate with joy and enthusiasm as you walk through the world. I swear, the phone ring, I gotta learn to do it faster. I'm just gonna finish this out. I mean, since I don't have anything, I'll just go to bed after this. I wanna be, I think it's my back. I spend too much time on my back, and it's because it feels so good. I can't help it. Whereas this is more like strenuous. I guess so I don't. Maybe it's like a subconscious thing. Like I leave it for last. So I don't have as long to do it. Maybe it's not really strenuous. It's that I have to support my body weight. So it's more effort, I'd say. When the calves, I mean, the calves are just more strenuous. That's not up for debate. This is like by far one that I'd say like if this is like your first time foam rolling, this is not going to be um, one that is fun. Just because our calves take a beating every day. God, I didn't even do my quads. Yeah, I really spent like 8 minutes on my back. So this might end up being, 35 minutes or something. Might just start. Maybe that's a thing. Something I should just do is just add an extra 5 minutes, make it 15 minutes of foam rolling. If I have the time. I wanted to keep this as close to 30 minutes as possible to make it more feasible to something I could accomplish every day. I think I'll keep that, but yeah, if I have the time, why not? Spend just a few extra minutes, a few 100 seconds extra. That spot right there. Yeah. This out. Oh yeah. I did do a lot of walking today, so it makes sense why the legs are a little more sore. really noticed that I'm able to, I think I said this in the last video, like I'm getting better at foam rolling. And so I'm able to get like a more consistent pressure in like longer strokes and get like larger surface area of muscle. I think some of it is like my flexibility improving, and some of it too is just like my dexterity using this thing. Ooh, it's really sore actually. I'm not gonna beat that. Yeah, that was a good example. Like my um, I don't know if that was my gracilis or which one of the adductors that was like was pretty sore. So I just I'm not gonna overdo it. All right, and now for some breath work. So 10 minutes. Oh, just take a second to like recalibrate. I think I talked about this in the last video I took. Um, I learned this technique from like a spiritual mentor. You know, he calls himself a spiritually inclined psychotherapist. Doesn't really matter what he calls himself, but he's incredible. And he taught me this technique to kind of create a tool to center myself by literally just like going like this, having a physical manifestation of this idea, just 2 pumps, and then just a deep breath. And just imagining, you know, my light or my purpose, you know, my whatever that centering is, you know, that I'm looking for to gather it in the chest area into a, you know, a circle, a sphere, I mean, a square. It doesn't matter. Just gather it here. So one more time. Wow. Okay, this is something to point out. Like, I kind of cheated today because I saw a, you know, a network chiropractor, and this breath work is kind of the companion work to getting worked on by a network chiropractor. And so I feel amazing right now. And I have to say that that's not totally within the realm of just this session. But they, you know, they piggyback off one another for sure. Wow. So the point of this stage of breathing is to notice the polarities in your system, areas that feel good and areas that don't. I've got to say, like, all three of them feel good, so I'm not sure. I'm just gonna keep going through because I've actually never experienced that before. All right, so this was day 4, even though today's technically day 5. So I'm gonna do another one of these. I think right before I go to bed, just another guided meditation, some stretching with a yoga strap, and then just 10 minutes of like sun salutation and even some warrior. I think that's gonna be interesting because I've never done something that strenuous right before bed. But I think, and I'll have to read up on this more, but I'm pretty sure that our stretch receptors, um, or I don't even know if that's the right word. I think there's something involved when you stretch a muscle, that feeling of like, oh, that produces a lot of melatonin if done, to complement a circadian rhythm, when it's dark out. Um, So I'll be very interested to see if, even though that'll be a little bit strenuous right before bed, if that leads to some really deep sleep. And if it does, I will research that more. Um, yeah, this was really really nice. Day 4, technically day 5 in the books.